You mean Vietnamese?
Please.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jackson, aka Nothing Speaks to Me, and today we're going to be reviewing the movie Terri Joe, Missionary in Miami.
The sands on the horizon every time you are not around. Slowly drifting.
Spoiler-free warning. This part will be spoilers-free. Alright, this movie, Terri Joe, Missionary in Miami, is about a girl named Terri Joe who is a Christian woman who lives in Louisiana. This movie is going to follow Terri Joe as she goes on a journey of self-discovery. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen this movie, go ahead and click off, watch the movie, and come back afterwards. Okay, this movie starts off with Terri Joe waking up in her bed with a picture of Jesus over her. When we see Terri Joe sit down at her vanity, we see the reflection of her, and it's of a skinny white girl. This does bring into question what exactly Terri Joe is. We, the audience, see her as a bigger black woman. However, in the reflection, we can see a white woman. When Terri Joe goes downstairs, we get to see her mother. Her mother is very rude. She calls her ugly, she calls her obese, and says she wants her out of the house.
This is your sign to stop being mean.
That's whenever we see Terri Joe making her way to work. She works at a corner store called Chitlin's Corner. As Terri Joe's on her way to work, a car pulls up beside her. There's a guy inside of it who offers her a ride.
Hey there, pretty lady.
Ew.
At first, Terri Joe says no, declines, but then the guy introduces himself, says his name is Bo, and says a woman as pretty as her shouldn't be walking to work, so she agrees and gets in the car. Bo then drops her off at work and she gets started. As she's at work, she's cashing out customers, helping them. She's talking to her coworker Mike all about Bo. She's going on and on about how much she liked Bo and how she can see a future with him while Mike is there. Obviously, he likes her. Terri Joe's ringing up all the customers, cashing them out. That's whenever a family of black people approach her counter. Terri Joe then pulls up a sign that says closed to coloreds, and she says that the store does not accept EBT.
We do not accept the EBT. Everybody out.
So right off the bat, we can see that Terri Joe is racist, especially towards black people, but anyone of color. That's actually whenever the store starts to get robbed. A group of 4 people come in, 3 of them are masked and 1 is unmasked. They immediately go to the register and start trying to steal.
This is a robbery! I never got to tell you this. I love you!
The robbers then have Terri Joe at gunpoint with Mike next to her. Terri Joe actually pushes Mike in front of her. He takes a bullet and dies as Terri Joe makes her escape. Terri Joe then goes to the sheriff's office where they make her ID the suspects in a lineup.
Hey, come forward! Is that him?
I surely wish it was.
Bo is actually one of the suspects and she does ID him. The cops say that it's fine, that he can't see her. So after she does ID him, he writes on the window, "I see you," because apparently he could see her the entire time. It was not a two-way mirror. Terri Joe then runs out of the police station and goes about her day, and then Bo actually makes an escape from the police station while the cops are busy playing Monopoly.
He's escaping!
All the robbers then go to Terri's house where she is not home, however her mom is home. They start to threaten her and she pays no attention to them until they smash her TV. That's whenever she tells them she'll tell them anything they want. They ask where Terri is. She says she's at church. The robbers then leave the house trying to find Terri, and Terri actually comes in from the back door. That's whenever Terri's mom tells her exactly what just happened and says she wants her out of her house. She's nothing but trouble.
Terri Joe, group of men came looking for you. I want you gone.
That's whenever Terri calls her cousin Georgia, explaining to her she has nowhere to go, her mom just kicked her out, and that's whenever Georgia actually tells her to come to Miami.
Funny girl,
Georgia? How are you?
Miami for swim league. Guess I'm going to Miami.
While Terri arrives, Georgia is in the middle of having a party.
Are you drunk? My highest.
That's whenever Georgia actually offers Terri alcohol, and Terri says, "Are you out of your cotton picking mind?"
Is this the devil's nectar? Are you out of your cotton picking mind?
So with Terri saying that, we actually now know that Terri's cousin is black. So that goes to say, is Terri black or is she white? Terri then says she has a headache, and one of Georgia's friends, Emma, gives her a drug called Blitz.
I think I'm having a heart attack.
Here.
I don't even drink, but somehow I'm wasted.
After Terri takes the drug, she just goes about enjoying the party. That's whenever a black guy comes up to Terri and they start flirting, but Terri makes sure to tell him that she's not into colored.
I'm Marcus. And you are?
Not into Negro.
So that's whenever Terri and Marcus actually go into the room and they start having sex, and then something falls off the wall and actually knocks him in the head, and she thinks that she's killed him. So that's actually whenever Terri runs out of the room looking for Georgia to help her.
Sorry. No, back just like my post. Keep going.
She actually cannot find Georgia, and that's whenever she stumbles into a Hispanic man who tells her everything's gonna be okay, and then she blacks out. Terri then wakes up on the floor, realizes everything that happened the night before, and then she starts to look for a church so that she can repent for all of her sins.
No, I've got to get out of here.
On her search for this church that she wants to find, she stumbles across a black man in a wheelchair. She asks him for help. He doesn't really respond, and then she actually says out loud she forgot that black people were illiterate.
They really know how to feed a man.
That making the guy mad, she then gives him $5 for directions, and he gives her directions supposedly to the church. That's whenever it's gonna jump perspectives to Bo, and they actually have made their way to Miami to track down Terri. That's whenever we jump back to Terri's perspective. The guy that gave her directions actually gave her directions to a chicken joint.
Damn it! You know I shouldn't trust no colored man. Of course you lead me to a damn chicken shack.
She then goes inside, makes a lot of racist remarks, and enjoys some chicken.
Quiet! Sounds like a bunch of monkeys in here. I can hardly hear myself think.
After Terri leaves the chicken joint, she's making her way towards the church, and she actually stumbles across the Hispanic man from last night who helped her.
I remember you from last night.
We all fall short of glory.
While she's catching up with this man, a rival gang of those Hispanics drive by and actually start shooting. Terri gets on a bike, steals it, and rides away.
The party.
As Terri's fleeing the shooting, she actually hits a drag queen with her bike.
It's compromised.
So then the other drag queens actually make Terri perform since she hit one of their own. Terri then sings, and we actually find out that she's a very good singer.
She's really good.
After Terri performs, she makes the comment how she's becoming sympathetic towards homos.
Maybe we can have somebody pray those demons out of you.
After that, Bo and his minions actually get to Terri, and that's whenever we get to see them talking about her. They talk about how she's obese and how she's black, which is a bit conflicting because anytime we see a reflection in the mirror or anytime Terri Joe speaks, we see her as a white blonde woman, but anytime other people talk about her, they just see a fat black woman.
How you doing?
That's actually whenever Bo and his minions have Terri at gunpoint and they talk about how they're going to ransom her. That's whenever the Hispanics come back into the movie and they actually save Terri. The Hispanic man drives Terri to the church and then he gives her a card with his information on it. When Terri looks down at the card, she realizes it says Jesus Cristo or Jesus Christ. Terri then goes into the church and she's really enjoying the sermon until she finds out that the pastor is gay.
I'm a Christian woman. I would not have my...
Terri calls them a lot of slurs about being gay and talks about how wrong it is, but everybody talks about how rude she is, how racist she is, and how homophobic she is.
What?
That's when we find out that Terri Joe actually isn't white. That's just how she sees herself. She actually hates the fact that she's black, so she doesn't associate herself with that. She associates herself with being white, even though she's not. Right after we find out that Terri Joe is actually black, the screen fades out and then it's gonna reopen with Terri Joe waking up on the floor.
I told you she wasn't dead.
One more hour and I was gonna have to have 911 all up in my 411.
Terri Joe is actually gonna wake up in the exact same spot that she woke up prior in the movie. Terri Joe then looks over at her cousin Georgia and starts asking her a bunch of questions. That's whenever we find out that everything that happened after Terri Joe woke up on the floor the first time was just a dream. That it's the exact next day from the party of which she took that drug. So everything else that happened didn't actually happen.
You're joking.
That's whenever Terri Joe actually finds the card that Jesus Christo or Jesus Christ gave her, and it has all of his information on it, and she still has it. And then the camera's gonna pan down to Terri Joe's feet, and we're gonna see that her sneakers are all dirty, as if she actually did go on this long journey.
It was real.
And then the movie's gonna pan out, and it's gonna say to be continued, and that's it. Overall, I really did enjoy this movie. I personally gave it an 8 out of 10. As someone who actually enjoys watching Terri Joe's videos on TikTok and finds them funny, it was really enjoyable. However, if you had not known who Terri Joe was prior to this movie, it might come off a little bit confusing. Terri Joe is very racist towards black people and even homophobic towards anybody in that community. But whenever she describes herself as a white woman with blonde hair. And also, anytime she passes in front of a mirror or a window, the audience can see the reflection is a white girl with blonde hair. With that being said, I just think it'd be a little bit confusing if you hadn't already known Terri Joe from TikTok.
The white hickey. My whole body is white. This is my natural color right here.
So, this movie just leaves the audience with one question. Has Terri Joe been lying about being a paraplegic this entire time?
The wheelchair.
You're in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Swear on grass.
I swear.
Alright, I want to thank you all so much for making it this far into the video. Again, my name is Jackson, aka Nothing Speaks to Me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.
360 of what?
You heard exactly what I said. Turn around, beluga.